You know how all the time I do that thing where I just go to items from my past and then talk about them or read them and be really boring? Well, guess what? It's not changing today. In what was probably 2009, I made this. It's called Super M. It's a story about a superhero, and it's quite the dramatic tale. Why don't we read it to you now, me? Alright, I don't know. There's something lacking about the setting that makes this story seem less, vibrant. What do I do? Some kind of decoration. One moment. Done. Sorry? It's titled Super M! Let's go! Well, the story began when a kid named Mike had the average life of a simpleton. All he really did was live in an old house. It looked sort of like a haunted house. That's because it used to be. Until they realized they were pranksters that always came there and knocked over things and that had lots more to it. Could tell me what that is. But Mike didn't go to school. His mum used to be a teacher before she retired at a school far away from where they live now. His dad owns a radiation plant an hour away.
But Dad, I don't want to go to work with you,
said Mike.
Son. Don't you know how much fun it'll be?
Answered back his dad. They travelled to the business in their car. They walked around a bit, and Mike found some candy and ate it. When he opened the door to the car for their way back, it snapped off. His dad was amazed. So amazed he fainted. Hours later they had a talk.
Left bracket.
Very long talk about the same thing time to time.
Right bracket.
About the strength he used back at the car. He started doing all different weird things. After a long time later, he realized that he had superpowers. That night he sneaked out of his window and sped into the city with super speed. He went to the costume shop and saw the perfect suit. Super M was born. The first thing he did was save the bank. From what? By now he knew the piece of candy did the trick. But somebody was watching him though. He was still in his suit. Asleep, that is. Until suddenly he got teleported into an arena. In his bed. The enemy that was spying on him knocked him out of his bed. They went into battle for a while until Super M knocked out his enemy into some machinery.
To be continued.
Which is a really frustrating cliffhanger. So the problem was that this was made in 2009 and it was never continued. First of all, who even is his enemy? What machinery did he knock him into? What did it do to the enemy? What happened to Mike in the arena? What happened to Mike's pet hamster? Didn't have a pet hamster. So with all these questions in mind, here's what I did. I ended this hiatus of 4 years and I wrote myself a sequel. Now let us read the adventures of Super M2. Super M was mad for being teleported and then pushed the enemy into the killing machine that was meant for Super M but backfired. The enemy was defeated and the arena watchers cheered for Super M. The head of the arena came up to Super M and asked him to be the king of the planet the arena was on, and he said he would if he could be the king while he was on Earth, and the head of the arena said yes. So he was teleported back to Earth and told his parent what happened, and they didn't believe him, but then the head of the arena teleported him through, so then they did. Son, you're really a superhero, his dad said. He was given a crown and ordered people around but wasn't mean and still saved people with his superpowers. And then the mayor made him mayor of his town on Earth too. One day his dad asked him to go to work with him again and he said yes. He went to the place where he found the candy bar and a scientist was standing there and said, "It worked! The experiment worked!" Super M knew all of a sudden that this was the man who made him Super M. The scientist said, "I was waiting for someone to find the candy I put radiation in to see if it worked. And it worked." The scientist then gave him a phone number and walked away. "Well," said Super M, "I guess that's one mystery solved." Super M started to walk back to the car but couldn't because he had been violently decapitated by the scientist with a knife and was later torn to pieces and eaten cold in a lonely shack on the ocean's edge. In other news, you might recall from my the Blove kick. It's there. I'm trying to get it on the internet. It's being difficult, but I want people to see it because it's quite the amusing ride. It's most certainly something. Give it that. Also, I finished exams. That's quite good, and I think that's it.